Everybody, it's Invictus. Time another run here. The Binding of Isaac Victor Repentance Plus series. Happy Friday, Mosh Pit. I hope you all had a great start to your Fridays here on this weekend. Well, we're on a little bit of a streak here in terms of our powerful runs, and I'm cautiously optimistic, but I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop here in November. But thank you all very much for the support. We did have another video across 2,000 likes, and the Mosh Pit is flying now with Missing No Week, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm glad that I decided to go for another round there, because I did explain it pretty badly, so one final time I apologize about that. But I'm glad that the Mosh Pit's on board, and it looks like we are on our way to making our first like streak goal in a while. So here's your meme of the day, brought to you by it's when I saw this one on the subreddit, I just laughed. There's absolutely no context to this except if you had watched the episode. But this one was sent in by Kaylee Beckham, who said just basically episode 439. That was it. And then in the thread, they also said this feels like bullying, but Gemini cleaned it up for real. Gemini was pretty much an all-star baller in that one. I mean, the fact that we had to go through a mostly entire run with Nodleaf Gemini just speaks volumes of just how ridiculous that run was. But it seems like a lot of people liked it, and I'm glad, because it was definitely a little bit of a challenge to play. C-Day is going to be Lima 1 Tango Tango Yankee Bravo Mike Alpha. We've got Virgo and also Compost, which is it's okay. We also have Maggie's bow with Virgo looks great on whatever hairstyle this is. I don't think I've seen this hairstyle maybe ever. Kind of an interesting one there, Isaac. Kind of looks like sort of Maggie's wig a little bit. I don't know. But Virgo is going to give us neutral or positive pills. And it also, of course, the biggest. Virgo. The second ability of Virgo is that it also gives you a ridiculously strong invulnerability shield when you take damage. If it procs. That's the only thing, is it's on a random proc rate. But Virgo is one of those items that really kind of flies under the radar a lot of the times. And it's an item that I frequently don't praise enough. Oh, wow. Okay. I guess we're just going to go. This is full astrology today. Scorpio is going to give us poison tears, as you can see right there. But Virgo really does kind of elevate a run and give you chances that you normally wouldn't have. The shield on IV bags, not IV bags, but temperance machines. Being able to use it with orbitals, being able to do if you can do self-harm to yourself and then get the shield activated, you can go in and run up with, like, say, Turdy Touch or Serpent's Kiss or anything like that. So as you see right here, it does not actually identify the pill. Also, why did there we go. It's like, why did the internal information mod turn on again? Yeah, people have been asking me, including Zombolas, have been asking me why am I not using the internal information mod, and there are certain things that the internal information mod does not do versus the external information mod. Particularly speaking when it comes to bag of crafting, or not bag of crafting. I don't use it for bag of crafting. Spin down die. Spin down die is kind of a big one. Not that we ever see spin down die that often, but it is nice to see, unless if you're just an Isaac guru, which is not me. But if you got all the item IDs memorized, then I guess you don't need, or at least the target items that you want to be spinning down, I guess then you don't need the internal information mod. But yeah, I think the external information mod is just as good as the internal one. I prefer the external because it does provide a little bit more of it provides a little bit more explanation of what's going on with an item, especially with the stat breakdown. I think that's just kind of better in my opinion. We got on the last piece of questions of the episode. This one coming in from the Symphony of Destruction episode, which obviously many people got the Megadeth reference there. This one is written by DJ Slacks, who said, question of the day, kind of. Would changing the tier stat to larger scale larger tiers the lower your tier stat is, and the smaller the tiers for a higher tier stat? I don't know if this would be a good idea. It's just an idea I had. So I think what they mean is if you have, like, let's say 1.99 tiers, for example, our tiers would be larger at 1.99 tiers to help compensate with the bad tiers rate, and then the higher that we get on our tiers rate, the lower the size is. So you have to be a little bit more accurate. I'm unsure about this one because, in a way, I would say probably not. Having a higher tier, having a larger tier size would definitely help out everything. But I don't want my high tiers rate to be negatively impacted by my tier size to be negatively impacted by a good tiers rate. That feels, although it is very thematic when it comes to Isaac, that feels very, very punishing for just being good, like a lot of the game decides to do a lot of the time, all the time. So now this is what I will say, because reading that question, I was I was a little bit confused, and then I started thinking about, well, how would I improve this? And if there was a way that you could have a condensed stat, associated with this idea, the idea that you have a smaller tier size with a higher tiers rate, but the tiers get more condensed, kind of like a black hole or a collapsing star or something like that in terms of damage, that would be cool. That would give another new reason to try to get a very high tiers rate for people, or really just focus on a tiers rate, so even though your tier size is going down, the damage of them individually is going up by, let's say, 5% for every one tier stat, and with it maybe a cap of, I don't know, like cap of 25% in increased damage. I think that would be cool. Varicose veins is varicose bad. And there's not even a pill in here, so not even a soul heart, so we cannot take the devil deal. Secret room. No. I guess we'll just take the card. All right, sun card. There is a big room to the right, but I don't think that I want to go fight it. We do have enough for the secret room, at least, if I can find it. I don't know if it's right there. Let me look. You got to look at this room. Yeah. Okay, yeah, it is here. You see the arrow of the rocks pointing right to it. Okay, well, we got some money, but not going to be enough to make much of a difference here in terms of us getting Devil Deal. But yeah, I think a condensed tier would be really cool. Isaac definitely has birthed a lot of games in the roguelite genre, and for good reason, because it is the grand champion, in my opinion. But I think Isaac could also stand to maybe get a little bit of an update on how stats work. Ball Pit and Mega Bonk especially have really influenced what I would do for the next iteration, the next evolution of Isaac. And it would give more RPG-like stats, kind of, where you do have stats and scaling kind of affecting each other. Because right now, there's not really any scaling in Isaac other than the damage multipliers from, like, Polyphemus or from Magic Mush, Cricket's Head, that sort of thing. And that's it. Which does make them feel more special when you do find them, but they don't show up enough to be... I don't know. I would like to see some kind of base value there. So there is some forgiveness if you get a really crappy Eden start or you just have a bad run overall. And it doesn't even have to be damage too. You can have like a tier scaling. Imagine this game with a movement speed scaling, or shot speed game scaling. I mean that would be cool. Wow, we get a miracle super bandage here, which is going to give us enough for the Devil Deal, and boy howdy. I think King Baby was in. I think. At this floor? I'm gonna pass on it because I don't remember. I'm pretty sure King Baby was in the shop, but it's not worth the HP. did find it very funny how many people were just immediately spouting out Megadeth lyrics. I like Megadeth. I'm not necessarily a huge fan of Dave. I mean, the man lets Metallica live in his head rent free for decades. And even though they say that he's buried the hatchet, I mean, it's Dave. I'm not a huge fan of Dave Mustaine. He's an amazing guitarist. In my opinion, his voice is kind of hit or miss for me. Sometimes he sounds really good. Sometimes he sounds really goofy. And that's just kind of the Megadeth charm, you know. But Megadeth has some amazing songs. I mean, I am a fan of them. Dave, less so much. I do not like Guns N' Roses, but it's kind of the same thing to a much greater degree than Megadeth with Axl Rose. One. Sorry, you're getting Keybagger. I don't think I want to roll. I don't think I want to lose Virgo, even though we haven't found any friggin' pills yet. But yeah, people were just randomly throwing out Megadeth lyrics out there in that episode's comment section. It was really good. Let's see. If we get rid of our red heart on a double deal on this floor only, we could get 3 soul hearts here. We've already spent enough keys. Not going to spend hearts, too. I'll turn our attention to compost really quickly. If you don't know what this item does, it will pretty much convert anything on the ground to flies and spiders. And it sounds cool and all, but you know, it's a little underwhelming. However, the best and most prominent property of compost is going to be whenever you it essentially doubles your spiders and your flies. So if you have a bunch of spiders and flies already currently, then it only gets stronger, right? But unfortunately, with how many new enemies there are in the game, since Afterbirth Plus has gone away and Repentance was introduced, compost has taken a huge hit in effectiveness. And that's due to the fact that there's so many enemies now that spawn adds. There's so many enemies that will basically gobble up all your spiders and flies before they even have a chance to do anything. And on top of that, if you have bad damage like we do right now, it's gonna take more than one spider to murk something out there. So compost is really kind of taking a backseat. It used to be top tier, in my opinion, and now it's just kind of It'd be great if we ended up having car battery or something like that. We can get a little baggy. I don't really want to replace all of our tarot cards though. I'm going to take this pill here, and we get a range up, something that we needed, and deep pockets as well. A little bit of a future investment there for our income. So deep pockets will spawn three coins occasionally, and they're all going to be the same denomination. Yes, they can be dimes, and yes, that is amazing when it happens, but it's few and far between, obviously, depending on your luck. Only a matter of time. All right, we got Fallen. We really need a Tears upgrade. We need a lot of things here. Virgo, this is going to be all you. Again, I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop here for November. Are you both of you really just did that? It's our final bomb. Now remember, if we get rid of our red heart container, we can go into that bedroom and get 3 free soul hearts. Dude, this Fallen needs to go. You need to go. You're just sitting there doing nothing, dude. It's Spirit of the Night, which is going to give us flying and spectral tears, but we took entirely too much damage against those jerks. I'm also going to remove the Super Ball. It's not really doing anything for us, and I just don't like it that much. Get a free Athame in the curse room, which is nice. Get a Perthro rune, nice. All right, so we got a per throw for whatever. We got a per throw rune for whatever we have in the store or whenever we can afford something. It's a bummer that we didn't get a Devil Deal upgrade, but that means we can save this per throw rune for one that we actually get. But holy moly, we need some tears bad. All right. $1.99 tiers is 1.99 tiers combined with 0 damage upgrades through 4 floors so far is that's how you get a 12-minute and 45-second flooded caves too. I had to get away from this blue champion because he's going to do the... Oh, maybe not. Oh, wow. 3 lucky pennies. Now we're talking. If you're wondering why I'm just not using compost, it's because it just doesn't matter right now. We're one spider, one fly is not going to last through these rooms. We're not going to be able to accumulate anything. Wow. Leech, you kind of confused me there for a little bit. Thought you were a dark grub. Oh yeah, we don't need keys. Silly me. Utilizing our spectral tears and flying to our advantage because, well, it's the only advantage we have right now. Even our range is doo-doo. That's after getting a range pill upgrade. There we go. I will say I have a painter coming over to the house in a few minutes, so you might see a pause in the recording. I just want to give you everyone a heads up on that. In fact, he just texted me. Yeah, so I'm gonna pause the recording real quick, and you'll hear a cut in the audio. Be right back. Sorry about that. Yeah, we're definitely due for a tiers upgrade here. And again, with compost, we're still looking to try to just flat out replace it. Hopefully we find something either in the shop on this floor or in the Devil Deal, or we'll just get a greed fight. All right. Now money's going to be great, obviously, but this... I can already tell you the playbook. What's going to happen is we're going to get a greed fight on this floor, a super greed fight on the next floor, and just have no use for, and then we'll get like a 1 premium item in the next shop, and the final shop on Depths 2. I mean, I hate to be sort of a defeatist like that, but it is true. We're definitely due for one here. All right, come on, Demon Baby. We need some extra damage here. Demon Baby kind of makes sense too, because with Virgo, if we do take damage and proc the shield, then we have a free couple of hits that we can dish out, and maybe even trigger Athame like that. So we got it's an interesting crew right now we've got on this run. We got Leech, we got Demon Baby, and then the powerhouse that is Athame. Okay, we have 2 unidentified pills here. Again, these can be neutral or better. Drowsy, and okay, that's... When I said better, I mean it could have been better. There's the Virgo shield, and look how long the Virgo shield lasts. It's so strong. Strongest shield in the game, second to none. Even the Book of Shadows doesn't last anywhere near the duration of Virgo, and Virgo procs very often. Doesn't feel like the right way to go, and that's because it's not. Yep. All right. So obviously boss rush is out of the question. Hush is out of the question. We just need to... And I hate to say it, but if we end up having to tank our way through this run, it's going to be a pretty painful experience. Now I'm hoping with Demon Baby here, we just get lucky with the Athame procs. Remember, Athame doesn't go off from only Isaac's kills. It's any death by any source in a room. Wow, I can't believe the Super Secret Room's not there. That is a shocker. Mega Fatty. And again, I'm not using Compost because there's just simply no point. We get one attack fly that's dealing barely 7 damage. Like, who cares? Not even 7 damage, less than that. So we have to keep in range with Demon Baby here and just kind of test our tolerance. You got to know the mobility requirements of certain boss attacks. I don't really want Matchstick because I don't want to reduce our key output. And yikes, dude. I am going to buy the Book of Sin for now because it's just better than Compost here, and then we can Perthrow this and hopefully get something crazy. Well, that would give us Conjoined, but I don't necessarily want Conjoined. I do want Incubus, so at least it doubles our damage in a way. But Multidimensional Baby, yeah, it's not. I do not want Conjoined right now. Even though we could use a couple of extra shots, we're not shooting fast enough to make a difference, and our damage is also not high enough to start reducing it again. We need more damage here. Now, of course, that's not to say that we won't get Conjoined anyway, because we usually do. Drowsy, feels like I'm walking on sunshine. Might as well take advantage of this. But we've got to be careful here. Bloodbag's going to be nice because it gives us something... Gives us an HP upgrade to maybe get another Devil Deal with if we get enough Soul Hearts. But this is a pivotal floor right here. And remember what I said. I thought that we were going to get a Greed fight. And turns out we're not going to. And that's evident by the presence of Envy here. But we do have Shoop to Whoop now. And Shoop, even though it's not going to do a lot of damage, is going to help us clear. Just enough to hopefully get Athame to proc. You can kind of see a pattern developing here. All of our success right now revolves around Athame procking nonstop and just clearing rooms for us. Like that right there. And as you see there, it doesn't have to be our damage that destroys a mob. It can be just any death at all. Even if they fly into a fire or something like that, that's enough to possibly trigger Athame. So Incubus is going to be great because technically speaking, he does double our damage right now. Even though it doesn't affect us on paper, it still gives us a second tier that we would already be firing. So that in that sort of sense, if you squint hard, it's kind of like doubling your tiers, kind of. That feels like I'm walking on sunshine. We can use that for an emergency. This right here because we were definitely about to get hit. Shoot the whoop. We got 11 bombs, so we definitely want to go for some soul hearts here. An Empress card is going to be great for the boss. For you, Devil card. Okay, we have a mystery gift here. Mystery gift, we could save it for the Devil Deal. Or obviously the big room that we use this for is the secret room. Now, if we're not planning on re-rolling in this run, which I don't know if that's a foregone conclusion or not, but if we don't, then the secret room is the most likely place that we will be using this because that has the greatest chance for I don't know about the range in that one game. That has the greatest chance for us to get a truly game-changing item. You know, we can get a Devil Deal item that is not going to matter too much. But us getting something like Rock Bottom or even Binge Eater at this point would be pretty appealing. Even an R key, I wouldn't even go to Depths 2 really for an R key. I would just rip it now because a second chance of this run might prove to be way better. We get Death Certificate. Oh my goodness. Well, what do we do here now? We need massive tears. And we need massive damage. There is no item in the game that does both at this stage. Let's see what we get from this floor's boss, and then we'll decide from there. So death certificate, we essentially have a certificate that allows us to take any item in the game that we want. Any item. And this is a natural sort of real world situation here that we haven't had in a while, where what do you do at this point? What, I mean, do we giga pump damage? Do we go for tiers? Like, we don't want to just take like the pact or something like that, even though pact is an S tier item. It's not use death certificate. Nice, you know. Balls of Steel is great here. Virgo really pumping it here. Look at that. We get Pretty Fly range upgrade as well as a Tears Up. Oh my gosh. That was one of the best pill rooms I've ever seen. Oh my goodness. I mean, Virgo is doing just fantastic. Virgo, again, it doesn't get enough credit for what it does. It's so strong. And I'm part of the problem. Admittedly, I don't praise it enough. And it's just one of those godlike items that's, think of it like a pseudo legendary Pokemon. It's really, really good, but the game doesn't give it the legendary classification. Get a Hermit card too. Okay, so we did get a big boost in tiers there. Is it enough to go for a damage multiplier? I don't know. But we need something that's going to affect our stats and all of the stats. I'm not necessarily talking about an all stats up. We're talking about looking at something maybe like Libra. Now that we know we have a tears pill in our pool, we don't necessarily have to take an all stats up. We can just go for damage and then build our tiers from there. There's a couple candidates I have in mind. Or we could completely bypass our tiers rate and go for something like a Maw of the Void, but that's a little too common for me to use a death certificate on, I think. So I'm not sure. Say, sorry, sissy. This ain't the time, girl. I don't think Libra helps us right now, but with Virgo, Libra definitely makes a lot of sense because we have range and tiers ups in our pill pool. Again, we don't need necessarily to get a pure all stats up. Sacred Heart's always a possibility too. Just massive damage. Lich Crown is also a possibility. We need something that impacts it now. This is what happens whenever I play a game like Skyrim or something. If I'm given too many choices, then I have to really, really kind of mull over what to do and end up doing nothing. I'm taking like an HP upgrade or something, which I'm not going to do. I was thinking about Rock Bottom too, but the problem with Rock Bottom is that it does not give us an immediate upgrade, and it's totally dependent on other stats that we get and cards too. Sacred Heart gives us an immediate need solved. We don't have the damage right now, until now, obviously, with Sacred Heart. So Sacred Hizzle coming out of the woodwork there. It was down to Sacred Heart or Libra. Because we have a Tears Up pill in our pool that heavily, and that's thanks to Virgo, by the way, that heavily influenced ultimately my decision on that. Because yes, our tears are going to go back down below what we started with at 1.99, now down to 1.92. But we have massive amounts of damage now, and if we can get that tear stat back up, which is definitely well within the realm of possibility here with Virgo. Look at that, we have two pills that give us tears ups. Pretty much completely illustrating my point on cue right there. So this is bueno. This is muy bueno. I always preach about how important it is to not only know where your secret rooms are, but practice learning the patterns that can produce them in your runs. We would not have gotten a death certificate if I didn't know exactly where the secret room was. Wow, 4 soul hearts. 3 tinted rocks so far. 4 tinted rocks so far. Holy moly. What a turnaround for this run after it was looking pretty dire here. You can afford the movement speed down. It's not that big of a deal. We gain a tears up and also a huge amount of damage from the Sacred Heart multiplier. All of a sudden, this run has turned completely on its head. No, I forgot my Hermit card. We take the negative here. 3 damage for just that. This doesn't give us Leviathan. I don't really want Sanguine Bond. And we don't have enough HP to play the Demon Judgment here. Well, maybe with the Virgo shield we might, if it procs. There we go. Yeah, you know what? It gives us Leviathan. We get the nail, so we can do stuff like this. Oh, hey, we got a Fool card. Nice. Okay. Yeah, I totally forgot already. I mean, it was immediate. Totally forgot that we used that reverse tower card, which gives a whole bunch of HP. Now, the nail is another great item that I would consider to be a pseudo-legendary item. Love the fact that you get not only a half heart, half soul heart, but you also get a big damage up, kind of a small speed down, but you also get the stompy effect, which in a bind, it could help you if you don't have a bomb, and you have like a very vital tinted rock or something like that you need to just absolutely get to save your run, and the nail can provide those things. But its main function is the damage up as well as the half soul heart increase in your HP. If you're on a character that can actually get soul hearts. So a very impressive turnaround there for this run. I'm shocked at how just one. I mean, it just shows you just one play, getting that death certificate and being decisive on what we want. out of that room is enough to totally transform a run from something that was pretty doo-doo to now it's not doo-doo, and now it's polished doo-doo. No, it's still very good. You know, you look at that. We even get ourselves a little bit of donation in there, and we could also get a soul heart. We might as well, since we've made a full donation. What a run! All right. Gotta answer another text message here. Yeah, Curse the Tower is not something that I want. I'm gonna save the Hermit card. We could just teleport out of here, but I'm gonna save the Hermit card for the Dark Chest. Don't forget, everybody, tonight coming up on Twitch, we have the weekly Pokemon breaks. So those of you here on YouTube, if you've not gotten a chance to tune in and you enjoy the hobby, or for yourself or for your kids or something like that, come on by. We'd love to have you here. Twitch.tv/Invicta, probably starting early tonight around 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Definitely starting no later than 7 Central. But with Phantasmal Flames out here, we're gonna be pumping a lot Phantasmal Flames. And we will be also having a Black Friday special next Friday after Thanksgiving. So big time discounts, site-wide coupons, all that kind of stuff. Oh mama, here we go. Cursed Penny, baby. The Cursed Penny is going to take us to random spots. I mean, you all know what Cursed Penny does already. If you've watched this channel in the last week, you know exactly what Cursed Penny does. And let's see if we can get lucky here with Teleport Meta. It's not everyone's favorite thing in the mosh pit, but it's one of my favorite things to do because it keeps you safe. It allows you to, it allows you to kind of test your luck. See how no. See how lucky we are today. And if we can teleport directly into the boss room. Now, one thing that did get changed in Cursed Penny is that the higher the denomination of coins, the more likely, up to a guaranteed teleport to get taken to a special room you get. So if you pick up a dime, it's guaranteed to take you to somewhere very special. Pennies, it can still take you somewhere special, but it's less likely. And on a run that saw a 27-minute Depths 1 run, we are already going to Shoal here in less than... We almost made Hush, which is insane. Okay, well, Twisted Pair we gotta take now, especially with Sacred Heart. Get another Tears Up, it's huge. Range Up's huge. Man, Libra would have made so much of a difference here. If we had it with Sacred Heart. Obviously we couldn't have taken both, so. But we might see it, who knows? With this damage and Sacred Heart and Conjoin now, it's all over for the game. We're gonna have a reroll, so might as well take Forever Alone. Oh, I didn't even notice that was a haunted chest. Bob's Curse. They're absolutely maxed on Pretty fly orbitals. It's just a nice little, nice little defensive upgrade. Magic Mush one time, feeling lucky. Feel like we don't need to take these pennies because we're on the right path. But for once, everyone's rejoice. I might ignore teleport meta just for this floor because I think this is where Stanley is. If not, then I'll start taking those pennies. And it's not. All right. Shows you what happens when I'm left to my own devices here. This has got to be the right way. Yeah. First penny sending us home again. We got a fun Friday. Definitely not going to do a victory lap today as I've got other things I've got to take care of. I'm glad that this run ended up turning around. And it's definitely not new status, obviously, but that was a really, really strong comeback that we had with just given how bad our base stats were and up till now. But again, going back to what I was talking about, I always talk about how important it is, the importance of making sure you know where your secret rooms are. And this is just a picture perfect episode to kind of illustrate that point. Hermit card did not take us to the boss room. Ooh, this might though. Did it put us on the right path here? What are you trying to show us in here, Curse Penny? Down here? Is it up here? Curse Penny's trying to tell us something. You only have to open your ears. Which I never really truly understood that saying because my ears are already open. There's no way I can close them. Or Curse Penny might be trolling us a little bit. Now, yes, you can. If you see this room, I'll show it to you. Because it's not something that I do just because at this point it doesn't really matter. But if you find this room here, the shovel room, you can and should get a free item out of these. You see that sort of disturbed ground over there. So if you're lacking items and you have the key, then all you got to do is use the shovel on that disturbed patch of ground, and there's 2 items in there that you can get. Just thought I'd show you all. First Penny's taking us around the friggin' world, dude. Okay. Got a nickel. No. Well, I can say that we've been the right direction at some point on this run, on this floor. Which direction that is, I'm not entirely sure. It looks like it would be more north from here. Ears up. Yep. All right, so Curse Penny knew all along, so I could have gone back to get 1 extra charge on the nail, but obviously our damage is not going to be much affected at this point. And thank you all very much for the support, as always. We definitely, if this was, I just now realized that we're 45 minutes in this video almost, so yeah. No victory lap today. Got to get ready for Pokemon tonight. But again, if you enjoyed the episode, make sure you click the like button. Remember, we only need 2K now for the like streak goal. That includes any video, not just Isaac, but Mega Bonk for the Nuzbonk runs or Ball Pit or even the YouTube shorts. All that goes to supporting my channel. All that is just greatly appreciated by myself and the people who also work for me. Because it supports them as well. So thank you, everybody. Thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing. Have a great Friday, and I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow for more Binding of Isaac action. And hey, 3 in a row that we got a pretty powerful run. So November is not charging us for the month yet, but that bill is probably coming. So thank you for watching. As always, I'll see you all next time. Until then, so long, everybody. Thanks for watching this video. Like thanks to patrons of mine like Paladamors, Fred, Larvenom, and Josh Vander Zayden. If you'd like to have your name read at the end of an Isaac episode, check out my Patreon campaign, which you can find at patreon.com/Invicta.